Welcome to CHTA Live, the Resilience Series, bringing you practical content to support strategies and solutions to guide your recovery plans. My name is Vanessa Ledesma, Chief Operations Officer for the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association. Thank you for taking time to join us this afternoon. Our topic today is Safeguarding the Guest Experience with Contactless Technology, Part 2. Before we proceed with the session, let's go over a few housekeeping items. All participants have been muted. You're encouraged to submit your questions for the panelists during the webinar by submitting them via the Q&A box. Questions will be addressed at the end of the session. The on-demand video recording of today's presentation will be distributed within 48 hours of the webinar. A copy of the presentation and any other support material will be available in the members-only portal within that same time frame as well. Our session is scheduled through 3:15 p.m. A special thanks to CHTA strategic partners for their continued support of our programs and towards the industry. CHTA continues to work on behalf of the industry by providing resources to address our members' needs and facilitate readiness, training, and recovery. Available for download in our website are the comprehensive industry health and safety guidelines and checklist. We are proud to announce that these regional guidelines have been awarded the Safe Travel Stamp recognition by the World Travel and Tourism Council. If you have not accessed this resourceful tool, we encourage you to download them to support your individual protocols. As a Safe Travel Ambassador, CHTA is authorized to issue this stamp to businesses in the Caribbean that adopt the regional guidelines, the implementation of the Safe Travel protocols, and sign CHTA's pledge to health safety. Also, the CHTA and our consumer website, CaribbeanTravel.com, will feature the list of CHTA members committed to health safety, providing you additional exposure in recognition for your efforts. CHTA has launched a member-exclusive benefit, the CHTA Travel Protection Plan, administered by TripMate. Please visit our website for more information as you look into providing your guests assurance and insurance. To the CHTA members joining us today, we value your continued support and encourage you to maximize the resources and tools available. If your company is not a CHTA member, you are missing on valuable resources to support your business continuity. We need and want your involvement. Join this My CHTA community today by contacting us at membership@caribbeanhotelandtourism.com. Next week, join us at 2 p.m. on Thursday for our next CHTA Live session, Building Back Business, Digital Media Strategies in the New Normal, presented by Amadeus and Google. You can register today to both these sessions to save your spot. If this is your first time attending CHTA Live, the Resilience Series, we invite you to visit our library of previous webinars available on demand at the CHTA website. Last week, in part 1 of this session, our panel shared insights into considerations for a seamless shift towards contactless technology solutions. A recent global study by Skift and Oracle Hospitality shows that 73% of hoteliers agreed that self-service tech will become increasingly important, while 71% of consumers are more likely to stay in a hotel offering self-service tech. And we know, of course, this is just secondary to the implementation and the need of having health safety protocols. Now, we want to share with you a poll to have a better indication of your current interaction with a contactless technology outside of the check-in process. So we ask that you share with us if currently you are using any contactless technology outside of the check-in process. And this is just to give us an idea of some of your level of understanding and knowledge of some of the resources that we're going to be presenting to you today. We also want to share with you that we have the expertise and insights of 2 CHTA allied members that will provide you a framework in terms of information and resources that you should know as you consider going into improving and integrating contactless technology, but also if you have those resources in place as well. And we're going to share a little bit of our poll. And of course, that is currently 40% of our attendees are not using contactless technology. And of course, you will be finding this session very useful for you. And for those that currently have that technology available, this will just expand your information and knowledge about it. At this time, I would like to introduce Richard Williams, a CHTA board member and CHTA ambassador, who will be co-moderating the session with me today. Richard is the founder of Richard Williams and Associates, with offices in the Caribbean, Florida, and New York. The firm provides management, marketing, and developmental services to the hotel, travel, and tourism industries. Richard, over to you.
Sorry, is that better?
Yes, we got you now.
Thank you very much. My apologies for that. Just give me a second. I got thrown off stride there for a moment. Okay, we're going to start off, ladies and gentlemen, by introducing the panelist participants from two major allied members of the Caribbean Hotel Association. I'd like to start off by introducing from Intelity, Jeff Aguiar. Jeff is the Director of Global Sales for Intelity, a product that I'm sure you're going to be finding to be of great interest to you as we move into this touchless, contactless world. And then from Crave Solutions, we have with us today, we have Gareth Hughes, who is the founder and owner of Crave. Gareth comes to us with a background from Brad Street, and he is also, I was interested to learn, a former director of the Zion Corporation, which some of you may remember was a very small technology leader back in the 90s, really way ahead of its time, but very sophisticated product. Nice to have you with us, Gareth. And Tim Butterworth, who is also with Crave, is the Chief Commercial Officer for Crave Interactive, been there since 2014, coming to them with a background in the hotel industry. And after leaving the hotel industry, Tim has been with a number of other technology companies, including Alcatel and various others, and of course is now placed with his hospitality background in a fairly unique position to be able to bridge the gap between hospitality on the one hand and our technology on the other. We're going to start off today with a presentation by Jeff on behalf of Intelity, and he's going to take us through their product and what they can do to make us more professional for our customers in the post-COVID-19 era. Over to you, Jeff.
Sorry about that mute there. Thank you, Richard, for the introduction. And I wanted to thank CHTA for inviting Intelity to present here today to your members. As Richard mentioned, I do handle the Caribbean for Intelity. I also look after the Southeast of the U.S. and manage major brands along with my boss, Senior Vice President Erin Taranga. I also want to take a moment, although she's not a panelist, I do want to just kind of just do a quick call out to my colleague who's also on the webinar today, Dominique Dorsal. Dominique is also a sales director, and she's responsible for Latin America, Central and South America. So if there's anybody from that neck of the woods on the webinar today, we'll have both our contact information at the end of the presentation. Can we click to the next slide? There you go. So just a little bit about Intelity. Intelity is a US-based company. We're a global provider of the most comprehensive guest experience and staff management platform in hospitality. We have corporate offices in both Orlando, Florida and Los Angeles, California, with developers, content people, project managers, and support personnel located in each office that are here to support the CHT members and our clients. Next slide, please. Obviously, for those of you who participated in last week's webinar, you understand how we kind of want to focus in on the contactless side of our solutions. So in the interest of time, what I'd like to do is play you just a quick short video, which takes which will take you through a typical guest journey for properties that are utilizing the Intelity solution. I think it'll provide you a very high-level overview of the different solutions that we offer. So we'll just ask that we start the video now, please.
Technology has revolutionized the way we travel. For the hospitality industry, meeting expectations of travelers has never been more critical. Introducing Intelity, the world's most recognized, award-winning platform available to seamlessly connect service industry workforces directly to their customers. Here's how it works. After booking his room using his Intelity-powered hotel app, Charlie checks in before he even leaves. And that's only the beginning. On the way to the airport, he receives a push notification offering him a deal on an upgraded room. In the interest of time and delicious food, he orders room service, a chicken melt and a side salad. Scratch that, a chicken melt and fries. How simple was that? After arriving, Charlie skips the check-in line. He's at a property powered by Intelity. Charlie uses his mobile key to enter his room. Click, he's in. It's sweet. And say goodbye to bulky, outdated materials. The Intelity in-room tablet offers a sleek, user-friendly interface with all the property's services at your guests' fingertips and access to their favorite content. Market your or your partner's food, beverage, and spa outlets, or share promotions and specials. Charlie decides a spa treatment is in order, and a moment later, room service arrives, right on schedule. So Charlie can settle in. Well, once he gets that extra support cushion, all of his requests are delivered to staff in real time and met seamlessly, again and again and again. Customizable brand displays allow for personalized promotions, like this one, offering guests discounted tickets to a food and wine festival the next morning. So Charlie, a dedicated foodie, uses Alexa to request a late checkout. Charlie can also view custom content via seamless casting, so he can enjoy his favorite baking show while eating a delicious sandwich. Intelity provides the most powerful platform available, complete with real-time analytics and reporting that streamlines operational efficiencies, maximizes staff productivity, and most importantly, gives you multiple opportunities to increase revenue. The Intelity platform integrates with most PMS, POS, CRM, room controls, spa, and ticketing solutions, giving you the competitive edge and giving your guests the ultimate stay.
And a happy guest means a happy review.
Intelity. Full service, full circle.
Okay, we can switch to the next slide. So the reason I wanted to show that slide is obviously the focus of this webinar is our contactless solutions, but that video gives a great demonstration of all the things that Intelity can do, which we don't have time to go over all today. So with that said, I just want to piggyback on last week's webinar. For those of you who attended, you guys had Assa Abloy, which is one of our partners. And I wanted to continue that conversation about Intelity's contactless solutions, excuse me. So on this next slide, I just want to talk about our mobile check-in and our mobile key, and that's what we're going to focus on today. You kind of saw it in the video, but I just want to just delve down in that a little bit further so you can see, it's a relatively simple process. There's not many steps for the guest, and it's something that's very easy for them to adapt or a hotel to take advantage of. And then obviously you can see here, and it was demonstrated in the video, we can do, in-room dining, contactless, ordering, replacing the compendium and all of those things as well. Next slide, please. So last week, Assa Abloy, I participated in that or listened in on that one as well, and they were talking about how, what the process is as far as mobile key and mobile check-in. And I just wanted to kind of go over that here on Intelity's side. So with our solution, we can send a message or an email to your guests pre-arrival, informing them, welcoming them to your property, letting them know about their upcoming stay, and encouraging them to download the mobile app. And once they've done that, you can see it's a 4-step process for them to, you know, verify if is needed, the credit card information. We can gather the credit card information. We can do ID verification, so that the guests can check into the hotel remotely, with the goal there of bypassing the front desk, maybe eliminating some of the clutter or congestion at your front desk. And then the other side of that is if you are doing mobile key, we can generate a mobile key for them so they can just go directly to their guest room. And these screenshots just give you an idea. It's four little steps that they need to do, and then they're checked in. So very seamless for them. It does require an integration to your PMS, but as the video talked about, we have about 150 different integrations, from everything from POS to PMS, and I'll get into that a little further on in the presentation. But wanted to show you at least what it looks like from the guest perspective, what they would need to do. Next slide, please. So last week, I know there was a couple of questions, and I think one of the hoteliers were asking about a different lock provider. I guess they weren't really aware that there are a number of lock providers that do mobile key. These are the 5 or 6 that we currently work with. I think the hotelier that was asking about Kaba, Dormakama, so we work with them as well. So if you have these type of locks, they might not be BLE enabled, or excuse me, they are BLE enabled but not BLE ready. So we can work with you to make sure that the locks get updated, to allow you to take advantage of, you know, mobile key for your guests.
Jeff,
like it says there. Yes, I'm sorry.
If I may ask, for the non-technical person, what does BLE stand for?
It's just a low-level Bluetooth connection. It's using your Bluetooth on your cell phone, but it's a low level. You have to have it very close to the lock to unlock it.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Next slide, please. So, you know, these are some screenshots I just wanted to touch base on. You know, it talks about, you know, the F&B side of it. So one of the things that's really important to hoteliers, particularly now with COVID going on, is, you know, just having limited interactions with guests, or I should say guests want limited interactions with hotel staff as a precautionary tale. So, you know, with the Intelity app, you know, we can do things like upselling F&B. We can do contactless ordering, as you saw in the video. We can deliver to different areas on properties. So if you have a guest staying at your property and they're not in the guest room, but located somewhere else on the property, we can collect that information as well, so that, you know, they are able to remote order any of their food and beverages. So I just want to kind of touch base on that so that you're aware that that's something that we can do and we offer. And then there's obviously upselling capabilities within that as well, just to increase your average check size. Next slide, please. Integrations, you know, one of the things that we like to talk about at Intelity, and it's really important for the solution that we provide, is the number of integrations that we actually have. All of our customers choose to do integrations, and there's a number of reasons for that that were you know, made sense pre-COVID. Now with what's going on in the world today, integrations, I believe, are even more important because they allow the property to really streamline the processes that you typically deal with. So, you know, instead of having someone answering a telephone, for example, to take our in-room dining order, the guest can place that from either our mobile app or our in-room tablet, and it gets directly fed to your POS. You know, we can do that also with spa bookings and you know, rental and valet requests. We also integrate to a number of CRMs out there that you know, might be helpful in just eliminating the unnecessary contact with their guests and your staff. So very important, something that, you know, we have no problem doing integrations to any of the solutions that you have on property. If we don't already have it, we're happy to add to that. So just wanted to point that out. Next slide, please. So, you know, obviously this webinar is focused on mobile apps and contactless features. So I wanted to just kind of show you real quick. If you'd like to look at Intelity, you can go out to the App Store. You can also go out to Google Play. You can search for any of these apps out there, and you can download them to take a look at them. So the first one would be Intelity Hotel. It's for an individual hotel. You can kind of see how that would work. You can play around with it, see what the features are, the functionality of it. If you're looking for a multiple brand app, you can download Couples Resorts. You can see there in the video or in the screenshot, but also if you download the mobile app, that they have multiple locations that you can select. And then last on there is the Hard Rock Cafe, or excuse me, the Hard Rock Hotel. We did a completely customized app for them. We ended up doing it for them using our SDK. We were able to develop the app directly to their specifications. We also have the ability to provide the SDK to a hotel if you want to do that development yourself or outsource it to someone else. So you have full flexibility with our platform, and I think we have a solution to meet anybody's needs. Next slide, please. Oh, that was the last one. I thought there was two more. I apologize. So that's my presentation today. As I mentioned, you know, we have our contact information. Dominique does handle Latin America, so if there's anybody from the East Coast of Mexico that's on the call that is interested in some information, please feel free to reach out to either of us. We are happy to assist you and provide you any information that you might need.
Thank you for that, Chef. Thank you. And we actually are going to ask Christus or Perle if they have any questions at this time, or if we were going to hold off and ask them afterwards. So I'll leave it up to if there are any specific ones, or we want to do them after. Richard?
Yeah, let me jump in just because I did not introduce Christus and Perle, and for those that are with us for the first time in section 2 today, I just want to say that Christus and Perle are a great hospitality team. Christus, by way of background, is currently the IT manager for Marigot Bay Resort and Spa in St. Lucia. He's a member of the Hospitality, Financial, and Technology Professionals Group, and he holds a Bachelor of Science in IT. He's also the holder of multiple team awards from different hotels that he's been associated with over the years, and he's passionate about technology and believes it should be utilized to help people and businesses reach their very fullest potential in the Caribbean. And Christus works alongside Perle Flavien, and Perle is the Director of Operations at Marigot Bay Resort and Spa. She's a born St. Lucian, and from her early years as a receptionist, she knew then that her life belonged in the hospitality industry. She originally worked at the very well-known Jealousy Plantation Resort and Spa, which sits down between the Pitons in St. Lucia. And then she went on to work at Anne Chastanet and Jade Mountain. And then after a short break away, during which she was in villa management and did her university degrees in the United Kingdom, she then joined Marigot Bay Resort as initially as director of rooms, and now she runs the whole show. So it's a great privilege to have Christus and Perle with us, and thank you both for taking the time to join. On the back of those introductions, then, Christus, Perle, perhaps you'd like to respond to Vanessa and just give a little commentary on what you heard from Intelity. Christus, let's start with you.
Very interesting. I think one of the biggest selling points is the integration capabilities. I was looking for spam management software last year called Book for Time, and I noticed that Intelity does have integrations with them and a number of other popular and not so popular property management systems. So as a hotel, if you want that sort of functionality where all of your systems communicate with one another, it seems like a solid option.
Perle, you want to follow up?
Yes, a very, very interesting presentation by Jeff. Intelity, no doubt, will complement the hospitality sector, especially with the pre-arrival process. And I'm very, very big on that. We understand that today's guest no longer wants to wait in line. And the fact that the guests can actually check in before they even arrive at the hotel is a big thing. And I think moving forward, most guests will be looking forward to that. They would want to see how we plan on making their life a lot easier, especially those who have had to travel for so long. They get to the Caribbean, they get to the resort, and they don't expect as many touch points. So thank you. I think Intelity is the way, well, touchless technology is the way forward, and definitely Intelity is moving in the right direction.
Annie, do you want to pick up on any of the questions? I see there are two questions that are Q&A that start us off.
I'm actually going to keep them after Crave because I would, I think the audience would appreciate the perspective from both companies. So I'm actually, and I also have another set of questions, but I'm going to keep them after Tim and Gareth give us their overview as well, which I think that will kick us off. So Tim, Gareth, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much indeed there. First of all, many thanks to Richard and the team, to everybody at CHTA for the opportunity to discuss Crave and some of our experiences in the contactless digital guest service world. A little bit, next slide please, if I may. Thank you very much. So a little bit about Crave. We're a British company with a software development in Holland. Hardware that's manufactured in China and with offices across the world, including in Las Vegas. The first thing that I would say that we've tried to specialize in the 10 years that we've been around is we've concentrated on helping hospitality companies delight their guests with engaging digital service solutions. So everything about Crave, the primary focus is on the guest and giving them a great experience. There's one thing that's founded that I'm sort of quite proud about is that we've managed to avoid using help buttons and how-to guides on our products because we appreciate that the hotel guests come in all shapes and sizes and ages and experiences with tech. Over the years, we've managed to specialize actually in resort hotels. So it's particularly pertinent and we're grateful for the opportunity of addressing the audience today. And we're very lucky that we've got some of the largest resorts clients in the world, being Aguiar in Las Vegas and Bahama in Bahamas. But every bit as important to us is all of the independent resort hotels that we have. We are fortunate to be the brand standard for AM resorts, and also in the Caribbean, we have the Body Holiday in St. Lucia, Treasure Beach in Barbados, and several other hotels. So we like to think that we understand this part of the sector of the industry. As a company, we're fairly solid, reliable, and secure. We took in some investment from a large Asian company last year, which is very important for us at these times. And also our technology is very much proven and is solid, reliable and secure. Next slide, if we may. So very much like Intelity, we provide tablet solutions and mobile solutions. And we're going to focus today very much on the contactless mobile solutions that we have. If I could ask everybody to keep your cameras to hand, rather than show you too much on the screens here, we're actually going to do a live demo of our appless technology. And with appless technology, this is all to do with actually providing guest services by just pointing a mobile phone camera at a QR code. Now, we've developed this, it was inspired last year. I was on a trip out to Shenzhen in China, early part of last year, and my guests were showing me around, and I was just amazed at how fast, at how advanced some of the mobile service technology was over there. In the restaurant that we went to, the waitress actually had a QR code on her polo shirt. And I asked our host, what's that for? He just pointed the camera at it and immediately came up, how much would you like to tip? Which was integrated into the payment system. So we started last year, early last year, developing our entire platform so that it could be accessed via QR codes. And we call that appless because it is contactless stuff. Now, generally speaking, with our solutions and Intelity's and those of our competitors, once hotels and other hospitality companies have made that digital leap, they don't tend to go back. That's because digital technology really works. It works for the guests, it's a great experience, it saves costs, it encourages guests to spend more. So it's a win-win-win. The big thing about contactless solutions now is, of course, we've got this extra element that COVID has brought us, where there is the need for guests to feel safe. We've just last month, we did a survey of 10,000 users of our appless technology, and we asked them certain questions that was there. First of all, did they find it easy to use? And over 90% thought it was easy to use, and that was across all demographics. We actually got about 93%, something like that, who found it very easy to use in people in their 20s. People over 50s, it was about 87%, which we were pleased with. So that was good. We also asked people whether they found it easier to use QR code solutions or downloadable app solutions. And there was about 6-to-1 in favor of QR codes. And the final thing that we asked them was whether they felt that mobile ordering and mobile self-service was safer than table service or bar service. And over 90% said they felt safer with mobile solutions. And that applies obviously not just to us, but all of our competitors. But I think in this world where COVID is very important, actually contactless solutions via mobile, we feel that those are definitely the way forward, and there's a great acceptance and a desire for them amongst the guests that we serve. I'm going to pass over to my colleague Tim now. If we could have the next slide, please.
Thank you, everybody. Good to be here. So I can see on my screen here, it says there's 235 participants. So I'm going to ask everybody around there that want to grab your mobile phone, get out the camera and point it at the QR code that's on the screen. So this is going to be the largest participant live demo ever done by Crave, which is great news. What you're actually going to see on the screen there is a demonstration of appless. And this is, as you would see it from a hotel bedroom, as if you had a QR code in your hotel bedroom, replacing all of the paper there. And you'll see for yourself how easy it is to access. I want to give you a quick walkthrough of actually what you're looking at. So the first, you'll see that there's a carousel on the top of the screen. And the carousel is there promoting all of your services. It's highly interactive. And you can bring through everything that you want to push, whether that's your spa, your local attractions, you know, it's entirely up to you. And you can change it when you want to. Further down the screen, you'll see some of the key items that hotels want to display to the guest. A property map, a resort map. There's some daily activities. You can call the reception directly from your mobile phone. It'll just pop through on your mobile phone. Or you could even message them using WhatsApp or text. Down at the bottom of the screen, you'll see that you can set the language. And if you change this one, some of the content on there will change into Spanish. We can support whatever languages you want to put in there. That's appropriate to your property. On the top right-hand side, you'll see three lines. We call that the hamburger menu. And you see a couple of extras in there. So for example, there's a cabana. And if you go into the cabana, what the advantage of appless and a QR code is you can target and make the QR codes specific to the locations. So an example there would be that if you had a QR code in your cabana, it will come straight into that cabana section, and you could order the food or drinks directly to that cabana. The nice thing about that is that it also means that you can go off and you can cross-sell and promote your other services. The key about having a QR code in a place like a cabana is you don't need staff constantly circling around looking for people that are waving their arms and saying, can you give me service? Can you give me service? So we know that is extremely cost inefficient for the hotels. And today you need to be very, very cost effective. So when guests can literally just point their QR code at their phone, at a QR code in the cabana, place the order for the drinks, the only thing required from the staff is to deliver it. And that's what people are looking for. So we are able to, with Applus, very flexibly enable you to increase your productivity and your effectiveness just by using the platform. The same applies in a restaurant. You don't need waiters and waitresses coming backwards and forwards all the time, as we've shown you here from a bedroom. Applus also means that you're able to reduce your costs because you don't need to have the printing of either single-use menus or menus which you're having to sanitize all the time, because the guest is using their own phone and they're very happy with that. Obviously, they see their own phone as being clean. But the great thing is, because it's digital, it means you can change the content wherever you want it to do. And more importantly, if things go out of stock, for example, which we know happens, you've only got a certain amount of lobsters, you only got a certain amount of steaks, and you get a run on them, very, very easy to make things disappear. So you haven't got people ordering from a cabana items which you haven't got left in stock. You can just do that. You can do that on the web, you can do that on a mobile phone, or you can do that on a staff console. So one of the recent examples we did is we have a hotel in Turks and Caicos. It's the Como and Parrot Cay. They already had our tablets, but they wanted to add digital menus and ordering for their restaurants when they reopened. And I think fingers crossed for everyone out there, I can see on their website that they're due to reopen on October the 1st. So good luck with that. They may even be on the call. We know it's a really, really difficult time at the moment. The great thing about Applus is it's very budget friendly because it doesn't require hardware in a bedroom. And it's a great way to start with Crave. It's very, very quick to set up. It's very, very easy to deploy. And it's very, very easy to maintain. And we train you how to be able to update the content yourselves. You can be really confident that our support team, which is based, as Gareth mentioned, over in Las Vegas. We also have a team down in Cancun in Mexico or the UK. So we follow the sun to be able to operate 24 hours. Next slide, please. Applus, so as this slide shows you, Applus is about customizing. It's about your hotel, and it's about presenting the content which matches your brand. We want to make your guest stay as personal as possible, so you can provide all the content you would normally print out, but just make it really easily available on the guest mobile phone. For example, another resort that we work with is on the other side of the United States, on Catalina Island, just off Los Angeles. We have 3 properties down there. Again, they installed our tablets, but right at the beginning of the pandemic, they were looking to see how else we could help them when they were planning to reopen. So they added Applus also to their bedrooms so they could see that their guests could take the content away with them. And then they added QR codes in their restaurants and their beach bar. And the primary aim for putting it down on the beach bar was to be able to operate more efficiently with less staff in those areas. Applus also allows you to provide a great personal service while maintaining distance as we need to do and more effective use of your staff. It allows you to upsell. Catalina Island, for example, wanted on the beach bar QR code to be able to promote the tours. So people, while they're sitting there having a drink, are looking at what else they can do with the hotel and where else they can spend their money. Because we know it's all about getting as much money out of the guest wallet as you can. When it's also digital as opposed to be on paper, you have a lot more flexibility about how your content is displayed. And the great thing is that you can actually change it whenever you want to. Next slide, please. So I haven't got time to go through all of the features and benefits which are listed on here. But when you get these slides afterwards, you can have a look through and you can get an idea for yourself. But I will pick out a few which are specific to the resort hotels and what we often get asked for. I've already mentioned, and hopefully you'll have had a play with it, that we can be multilingual. We can promote the concierge and we can promote the local tours and activities you have. You can use it in your restaurant and you can use it in the bars for the guests to be able to do contactless ordering and in-room dining. You can also display the pricing in multiple currencies. There's guest messaging. And one thing which is really, really important for all the resorts is the ability to display the daily activity schedule. And I know those things change often, and suddenly you get a bit of weather change. Very, very easy to update it. On the Crave platform, you can have in-room dining, and then you can have as many other ordering outlets as you want on the same resort. One new feature we added recently is video services. And we can integrate that into the platform. So you can even before the stay, as part of the reservation confirmation, put a link in there for the guests to be able to call the hotel over video and have a conversation about the things they might want to do when they get there. I've told you we add on upselling, but what we also know from Crave, from all the customers we've had that have bought our tablets and our services in the past, that our customers are there to stay and they like our product and they like that they're in there for the long term. Next slide, please.
Okay, thank you, Tim. So just quick sort of summary. These are what we sort of see as the main benefits, if you like, of the Crave system. First, I would like to iterate, it's about the great guest experience. It's why your guests will come back to you. We try very hard through digital means to add some experience, some wow, some practicality to the guest stay. Our system is very much customized to the brand, and you'll appreciate why that is. You know, the guest doesn't want to see that it's a Crave product. They want to see an extension of your own brand there, which is why all of our solutions can be customized with your branding, with your colors. Everything's flexible about the system to do that. And our customer service team are very, very good at working with different brands and different looks and feel in order to get the best and optimum presentation of the services to your guests. Services relevant to the guest journey, they are different. As Tim said, you can put different QR codes that relate to different services around there. We all hope that there'll be more business travel in the future, and for those of you who have conference events, etc., that it's possible to put QR codes into meeting rooms, etc., that just provide the services there. We're doing a lot in bars and restaurants at the moment, I have to say, and what we're seeing is that from the rooms, there are probably because of COVID, there are more guests electing to eat in their rooms with room service. So the F&B element is very important, the right service at the right place there. Easy deployment. We've learned over the years how to make things easy for the staff in hotels, how it is easy to get technology deployed. You shouldn't be scared about deploying technology solutions from Crave or any of our competitors there. The industry has matured to the point where it's there. There's no specialist staff that are involved. Integrations are possible with Crave with a whole bundle of things, but we also work standalone. It's a choice for our customers to do. Many of them opt for standalone operation as well as the integration. And if there's one reason why you should look at digital solutions and contact solutions is, at the end of the day, it does improve your bottom line. As well as the guest experience, they do order more, you can get more dollars, you can improve your revenues of your ancillary sales, etc. You can get a better relationship going with your customers to improve, encourage them to come back, but also you can reduce your costs. So they work, it works in all ways. And I thank the team and indeed everybody for joining this, online conference. And that's our final slide there. So thank you very much for that.
Danny, if I could just kind of jump in ahead of you, I'd love to hear from the team at Crave, from Tim and Gareth, a little bit more about how their product might integrate with different restaurants. If I have a guest sitting around the pool and the guest is deciding where they want to eat today, whether it's at my beach bar or whether it's in the main restaurant, I understand that the QR codes drive different menus, but then on the assumption that I can go to a series of different menus or a series of different activities, including tours, how does that then interface with my point of sale system so that the whole process gets electronically recorded right through from the time I place the order sitting around the pool on my smartphone, right through the MyCross or whatever the point of sale system may be, right through to my bill at the front office?
Yeah, it's a fairly simple answer to that one, there, Richard. There's no limit to the amount of different venues that we can cope for in the same system. And so if you have a hotel guest where there's multiple bars and restaurants that they have, they would be able to select which one they want to order from. We obviously just name it in-room dining, or the Coco Cabana beach bar, or the such and such restaurant. The Crave system at the back end can route things in lots of various ways, including to the individual POS systems which reside in those. There are other alternatives as well. The reason that our email addresses are Crave menu is that we started out actually as a specialist F&B company, and our system's designed for integration. We publish actually an API so that POS companies can integrate with us. So there's a choice. We have many integrations where it goes straight through to the POS, like at Kimpton Hotels, and then many of our clients decide that they'd rather work with our consoles and printers in a more standard way. What I would say is this, is that from our experience, you will still get some guests that look at the menu digitally, but want to actually place the order through. So it's typically about 70% order electronically, and about 30% of the guests will look at the menu electronically and put it through. So while they're taking the phone order, they need to key it into the POS. And so there's 2 or 3 different ways in which you can operate there. In Las Vegas, in Aria, I think they've got 14 restaurants in that output. We also have Starbucks, which is quite a complex menu that people can run from. We haven't come across a situation with any resort which is too complex for the system to handle at the moment.
And if I can just follow up with regards to report generating, we had a specific question from a food and beverage standpoint, but if you can advise in terms of what are the report capabilities of the system, and Jeff, if you can follow up after Gareth on that particular matter as well.
Yeah, sure. So independently of any reporting that the POS might have or what have you, what we're currently doing with our system as well is we're doing quite a large number of bars and pubs and events with the mobile order and pay stuff there. And what we do is we have a system whereby the orders can come out, they can be split between different types of product types, that full list of all of the orders there, how much was received on tips, because we encourage tips, of course, which are in the system, and also outputs of what the products are sold in what category. We actually use a lot of that data combined with data analytics to help improve menus and actually concentrate on the higher value items to improve stuff there. So the reporting's fairly sophisticated that we have there. Typically, we would output it in a CSV file that can be inputted into most accounting systems or used in whatever way that the clients want to. And we do have quite a number of clients, and particularly for those that have late night bars, etc., that don't want a daily report. They want it from 4 o'clock in the morning is the time that they want it. So we've got flexibility on the reports, and I think that's one of the strengths. And obviously, information is key for the clients. With hotels in particular, we also have a Google Analytics, which measures every single click on there. So we can tell a resort and a hotel what proportion of their clients are interested in looking at the gym or the running routes. Typically, it's 25% across the board, or you know, when it comes to how many eyeballs are on which sort of spa treatments. And from that sort of data, we know that actually you can attract more attention by having videos which play both on Atlas and on the tablet and other things there. So our team can use data, we give reports out, but also we've got quite a lot of experience where we use that data to figure out how our systems can best be used by our clients. And of course, if our clients get more value out of it, then they're more likely to buy our system or recommend it or keep the system for longer, which is the case. So I hope that answers the question. Over to Jeff.
Jeff, and if you can also expand in terms of any sort of updates to the information that it's posted and, you know, in terms of guest services, menu changes and things like that. So if you can start with the reporting and then changes, how it translates in terms of changes to those guest services and the mobile app.
Okay, shall I just finish off on that one? And then
let's just get Jeff first,
yeah,
and then
absolutely.
and Jeff, unmute.
Yeah, so as Gareth mentioned, I mean, Intelity, along with our other competitors, are using Google Analytics on our back end to track all the interactions that guests are doing either from our mobile app or from our in-room tablets. We provide a number of I'll call them canned reports that hoteliers will have right out of the box that they could run to look at what's being looked at, what's being ordered, and can be adjusted if they so choose. They also have the ability to do custom apps. So within our Intelity staff, which is our back end, there is the ability to create reports that might be more customized to an individual property that they have the ability to customize for themselves. So all that information is displayed. The reports are displayed in our Intelity staff on our back end, or also can be exported to an Excel or a CVS file so that it can be imported to another application if desired. And just could you repeat the second question? I'm sorry.
So so you'll start and then Gareth and Tim follow up. In terms of if the services change during the process, so the app is live and there is a change in the menu, or some of the guest services have different activities rather than what it was. So the process of updating that, how seamless it is, what it's required, and so Gareth, you follow up after with that.
Yeah, actually, really, our back end is pretty robust in that it's almost like a click and drop, drag and drop, I guess is the right terminology. We call it Intelity staff. You can see it; it's very visual in nature. It's not a lot of not programming, but getting down into click here, do this, do that. It's very visual. It's separated on our back end. So if there are changes that need to be done by the property, it's something that they typically can do by themselves. We do, obviously, during the onboarding, we do full training at the property, at the brand, however it's being deployed, so that the employees on staff know how to make those changes. With that said, obviously, we are always available to assist in any way. If they need something quick and they don't know how, we're happy to do those on the fly for them at no cost, right? It's just part of our service.
Okay, Gareth.
Yes, thank you. So first of all changes on Atlas are instant, and they need to be, as Tim was sort of saying, if you run out of a lobster or something, or you run out of the drinks, you can instantly make that unavailable on the menu there. You can also change the content instantly there. What we tend to do is we tend to train up those clients that want to change the content themselves. So a lot of our resorts, the entertainments manager would go and change the daily sheet of activities and want to change that, perhaps depending on the weather or what have you. That's one example that happens in resorts. Sometimes there are staff that are on duty that need to make changes that perhaps aren't trained on the system or haven't been given access to the system. So we have 24/7 support as well. Any emails just need to be changed to our support staff, and we always have somebody online who can make those changes for it there. But things do sometimes have to be changed instantly. Information sometimes has to be portrayed instantly. So that's one of the benefits of a digital system, it's much easier than having to print out a letter to all of your clients that you have to push through the door because, you know, something's gone wrong with the heating or there's a maintenance stuff. You can communicate directly and make changes fantastically with our digital system and indeed most of the digital systems out there. It's one of the big benefits.
And both in terms of both programs and features, how long is the implementation process? So on average, what it will take for all of this to be developed and then before guests can utilize it, either or can kick it off.
Yeah, Jeff.
Yeah, well, right now we're looking at, you know, between 60 and 90 days for full implementation, and that really just depends on typically it's the property. You know, most property that are adopting this type of solution, it's their first time. They don't know maybe ahead of time what information they need to have available and gather. So there's usually a bottleneck on that portion of it. But I think 60 to 90 days is a realistic expectation to from once you agree and sign a contract to go live on property.
Gareth, any further on that?
Yeah, I don't. We're typically shorter than that, and I'm sure Jeff's team do some that are shorter. Where it's it obviously depends on the material being available from the hotel, as Jeff says, and the coordination from it there. The shortest that we've done is 24 hours. That's for bars and restaurants are there, but we like to quote typically 6 weeks is a comfortable time, and the process, which will be the same for most of the companies, are you collect the data, you agree how it's going to look, what the structure is. We create essentially a first draft of it that's discussed with the hotels. Changes are made backwards and forwards, and then, you know, it gets ready for going live. I think the important thing about digital systems is that one of the reasons why maybe companies always stick with digital there is that we're continually, as are our competitors, bringing out new features and new software out there. So it's always evolving. Every quarter there'll be new features that are out there, etc. The general direction that we're going in, as I'm sure everybody will appreciate, is towards personalized services, and all of that data that we're collecting, particularly from Atlas, we're storing, so that essentially we're working hard on developing stuff so that when the guest comes back in, you know, they're presented with their favorite drinks at the top or any of the other favorite things that they have, and so that we can, you know, the whole digital world is working towards more personalization of services, which replicates what we've all grown up with hotels and restaurants. Is, you know, hello, Mr. Hughes, you know, would you like, you know, whatever. Really builds on that stuff.
Annie, could we on the back of that go a little bit to the operations side and go to Christus and Perle, and maybe starting with Christus from an IT point of view. Christus, any kind of comments on what you've heard in the last 2 or 3 minutes?
Both of these solutions seem very powerful. I can tell that Intelity seems to be geared more towards providing a contactless check-in experience, whereas Crave leans more towards the F&B side. Also, a lot of the convenience that Crave provides is based on the fact that it's web-based, compared to Intelity being a native app that you actually have to download to your smartphone. I know with web apps, sometimes there's certain limitations. For example, you can't, to my knowledge, download a mobile key from a web app to unlock a door or something like that. Is there any way to bypass that limitation in terms of Crave when it comes to the contactless check-in experience? Because I noticed it wasn't discussed as much.
Yeah, that's a very good point that you make there, Christus. And there are some keys, mobile keys that now work within PWA as in progressive web app. You'll see that the performance between progressive web apps, PWAs as they're called, and actually native apps, you can't tell the difference, whereas 3 or 4 years ago there would be a huge difference in performance. Some of the things which in terms of a lot of the popular key systems at the moment, you're quite right, they do require a native app in order to do that. We're working with a number of partners where basically the Crave system can sit alongside an app for opening the room, but then we've got the advantage of being able to provide QR codes for different purposes around the place as well. So it's possible to have the best of both worlds. You're quite right in what you say. There are some aspects of things, including the mobile key, which requires, I believe, for security purposes, some of the vendors required there to be an actual downloadable app. And I think what hotels have to do is they have to look and weigh up the pros and cons of all of these systems that are there. I've got enormous respect for all of my competitors, of course. There are differences, you know, as there are differences in all of the hotels. Every hotel is unique that's out there. And a lot of hotels at the moment, you know, the mobile key entry costs a bit in terms of changing the locks, etc. That's there. As I say, it is possible with our technology there. So everybody has to weigh up the pros and cons of what they do. We're quite happy with the QR code approach that we've taken there, because we can provide the mobile check-in as well. But for us, the reason that we did it was we believe that instant access to services wherever you are is an advantage. But I don't think there is a perfect solution that covers all bases that is possible. So, you know, different vendors take their different choices with their development resources, and that provides choice out to the market.
Well, I definitely agree with that, because I have been on the search for a perfect solution. But then you come across the pros and cons, and they almost seem to complement each other. But then you find some overlapping functionalities, which would make it expensive to implement both of these systems. So yeah.
Danny, can we get Perle to kind of make a comment from an operations point of view? And then I know you got other questions. Perle?
Yes. So Gareth, using data analytics, are you able to determine the most popular items on the menu? Does Crave allow for an opportunity to see the most popular items for sales purposes, of course, and the time frame at which you get the most sales? Is that something you can extract from the data?
Yeah, it is. And this is very much focused on the company at the moment. The large investor that we had last year is actually a company called True Corporation in Thailand, and they have a data analytics division with 150 data scientists in it. They happen to have a big mobile network. We've learned a lot from that. With menus, big restaurant chains for many years, there is a great science to how you lay stuff out. You're trying to get the most profitable items sold more, and there's a number of things that you can do. And within the digital world, you've got even more power to be able to influence actually what is bought. So, you know, things such as the top 2 items in the list are more likely to be bought, and the bottom one typically don't do more than 7. You know, options in a particular list there. If you have your the one that you want to sell the most, you can call it out in all sorts of different ways. Now, one of the things that we're working on, and this is sort of quite important for those that might have high volume in F&B side of things there, is that getting the right price point in order, you know, is very important there. And so what we're doing at the moment for many of our clients is we're measuring the amount of clicks that we get, which are eyeballs, and what the conversion rate is through to orders. And by making various changes there, we've built up quite some expertise, which we're helping our clients to put to good effect there. So I think that you know, the data that is collected from digital systems, I think we're at the beginning of our journey, I think, in terms of really maximizing the value of it for our clients. You know, in particular, I don't think many of our clients actually employ data scientists and what have you to do that job for them there. So it's a way in which hopefully we can differentiate and add value to the services we provide. And indeed, it gives us a big insight into how we can help our clients maximize their sales, maximize their profitability, but also learn more about their customers as to what services they want. And you know, typically, if I was to go out in the to the future to a Crave bar with my daughter. I don't drink. I would be served up with Diet Coke and the alcohol-free beer at the top because it knows that's what I buy. My daughter would be straight in there for the cocktails and the heavy liquor. Therefore, we are heading towards that personalization services, which again can help sell more. But along the way, there is stuff that can be done right now with the data to help improve the services and the profitability of those services.
Gareth, let's move it back to Vanny because I know she's got a lot of questions that she'll want to throw out.
And actually, I just want to mention, because we are very, very close to our end time, that any questions that we do not have the ability of answering live, we will share them with the panelists to get their responses. So Crave and Intelity team, I know this is being thrown right now, but we'll send them to you shortly, and then it will be included with the webinar recording, so that those questions that we're unable to answer, that the audience has the benefit of having those answered as well. But Jeff, on the video that you displayed, there was that reference of one of the commands of what the guest was looking for being made through Alexa. So of course you have more of the new generation of travel that it's comfortable with having the same features and commodities that they have at home. So what sort of integration requirements outside of having the equipment in the guest room would a hotel would need to have this integration?
So Intelity has an integration to Alexa. So actually, if a property was to choose to do our 10-inch tablet, it comes with a Bluetooth dock already on it, and Alexa's already loaded on there. So in that, you wouldn't need a separate Alexa device. But if they aren't using that, it's something that's already integrated to the Intelity platform. So you could order, request towels, request a F&B order. It's a little, I'll be honest with you, a little more tricky because they need to be able to have all the variables. I want my pickles on the side or stuff like that. So it is a little more tricky for that. But as far as asking Alexa, for information, it's all integrated into the Intelity platform. Just real quick, I just wanted to just pick up on Christus' question earlier. Just so you know, Christus, Intelity does have a kind of an enhanced web app that we offer. I'll be honest with you, we don't typically see a lot of people asking for it. Not that there's anything wrong with it. Gareth's done a great job of explaining the benefits to that type of solution. I think Intelity's position on this in the market is, we want to be able to offer a solution that meets your needs today, but is also something that is future-proof. Meaning, a lot of our customers today don't necessarily need mobile key or are ready to upgrade their locks, but they want the ability to be able to move in that direction at another point. So we have the full gamut from an enhanced web-based app to our full SDK, where it's a completely customized app. But I just wanted to kind of share that with you and make sure that you're aware of that.
Okay, so would that mean that Intelity supports QR code functionality as well?
Yeah, I mean, QR code is it's not something. I mean, I don't want to say anything about Crave here. It's not something that they developed. It's been around for quite some time. You pick up your camera, you don't have to have Crave on it and point it at a QR code. It is going to launch whatever that is, take you to a website or what have you. So yeah, I mean, it's yes. Does that answer your question?
It does. And would it have the same integration functionality? For example, would your web app still be able to interface with our point of sale?
Yeah, we would not have the same integrations from that. And in full disclosure, on our web app, we can integrate to all of our integrations except for room control. Today, we cannot do room control from our mobile app. It is on our roadmap, but we can't do it for today. But all the other ones, PMS, POS, our spa solutions, obviously room key, and then some of the simple ones like open table and stuff like that, we can do today on either the in-room tablet or the mobile app.
And of course, when you're talking about systems that are available over the cloud, mobile, etc., then you have the number of questions about privacy and how to ensure that all of the data that it's collected, it's private. So we have one of the questions is, how hackable is this? Can we add security layers to do this? Or do you provide security information? Where do the reports download from our servers or from the cloud? So,
yeah.
So I'll take a quick shot at that. I'd like to take that one offline, just because I am not, the technical guru here at Intelity. So I'd like to be able to provide a more complete answer. But to answer your question, there are a number of features and protocols and encryption we use on the mobile key side to make sure that, for example, someone's not there with a wireless sniffer, as an example, steal credentials, looking at packets and stuff like that. So it is fully encrypted. The key resides on the guest mobile phone as a layer of protection. And then on the let's say the credit card gathering side of that, Intelity does not gather, hold, store any credit card information. When a guest is entering that information on the mobile app, it's actually being sent directly to our payment aggregator. We use MyCheck, very big in hospitality. I'm sure many of the hotels are aware of it. And then that gets forwarded to the hotel's payment processor, and then it's tokenized. So we receive a token back saying, basically letting us know that we pass to the PMS that, this is a live credit card, it has balance available, and all of those things, so that, we're not holding any of those. So from a security perspective, it's less of a concern for our clients.
right, Gareth?
You should have no concerns about the security on these systems. They are end-to-end encrypted. One of our biggest clients is MGM Resorts in Las Vegas. You can imagine the amount of security checks they wanted to do on our system, including they employed some consultants to try and third-party hack the system to see how secure it was, and we passed that. We do regular third-party checks on our system. There was one done just as we ran into COVID in March, where we had some consultants come in to do that. So we've got the certificates to show it's there. You can never say never in terms of the hacking world. As we know, the hacking world is there. Ultimately, the same as Jeff sort of says, we do take payments, but they are actually taken. It's Apple Pay, Google Pay, and other third parties which are actually dealing with all of the payment side of things, which is, our partner is a company called Agen, which is a respected international provider there. And so at the end of the day, the worst that could be hacked out of our system is whether somebody ordered, how they had their burger cooked, and or what sort of spa treatment that they did, or what sort of excursion they did. We're not dealing in highly secure highly secure data, I don't think, in the guest services side of things. I would say rest assured, not just with the Crave system, but with, I can't believe that there's any of the vendors, any of our competitors either, that would not have suitably secure systems in place.
Perfect. And as we're getting closer, actually it is time for us to close, but before we close, Christus and Perle, any sort of, good piece of advice that you could give to our audience from a hotel perspective as they're looking into incorporating more contactless technology?
Perle, let's start with you, Perle.
I personally believe that any tool that can be placed between distance and employees right now has relevance today. The guests don't have the luxury of time. Guests don't want to know that they will be coming into a property and they will be in line. They want to know that they have the option of placing an order from their room, from their mobile phone. I think that's the way forward. A lot of emphasis will be placed on social distancing, and guests, before they even arrive, want to know what steps have been taken, what systems do we have in place, are the staff trained. We need to take that into account before we move to the next level, because these are the things the guests will be looking for before they actually book a trip or before they even dine in your restaurant. There will be many questions moving forward, and I have personally seen that because our forward bookings are all centered around what steps have you taken for COVID, what are you going to do, what's the check-in process now, and how much time am I going to save as a result of going contactless. with you. So it has more advantages, in my opinion, and that's the way forward for me and for many hotels and businesses.
Christus?
Just to echo Perle, this really is the way forward. There's no really running away from it. This technology has been increasing from pre-COVID. I think COVID just made people aware of how important this technology is, and now they're also starting to realize, apart from the safety protocols, how convenient it is for their guests. A number of properties might have difficulty embracing new technology, but just think back to probably not too long ago when Wi-Fi was considered something for luxury guests or for business clientele. And then all of a sudden it became a deciding factor as to whether a guest books your resort or not. So it's usually a good idea to embrace technology once you realize that there is a trend with it being implemented. Also, a lot of properties might have difficulty deciding on which solution, and I think it really just comes down to three factors. What experience are you trying to build for your guests? What functionality do you need from the platform? And how much are you willing to spend? For some properties, they might feel like asking their guests to download an app might not exactly be something they want their guests to do. They might see it as a barrier, whereas it might be easier to convince them to just point their camera at a QR code and provide that seamless experience. But then that seamless experience, as we discussed, comes with different advantages. You lose certain functions, you lose certain integrations. So it's all about how important these functions are. And that would vary across different companies. And then you also have price, which is the factor that accountants love the most for some properties, regardless of how great your product is. They have a certain budget to meet, especially with the pandemic wreaking havoc on our cash flow right now. For some properties, cost will be the deciding factor. So all three factors are important, but I think how important they are will vary across different companies.
Perfect. So Richard, any final comments before we wrap it up?
Oh, Vanny, as always, you're a masterclass moderator. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Well, Alexis, if you can bring up our last slide. We really thank you all for staying on a little bit beyond the time, but in front of you, you have the contact information for Intelity, and then as well Crave. As a reminder, this information will be shared with you within the next 48 hours, as well as the video recording of today's presentation. A PDF of the slides that were shared would be available on the members only page, and all of the questions that were left unanswered. We really appreciate you sharing those questions with us. We'll share them with the panelists and include them in the information that will be sent to all of you. Remember to join us next week for Building Back Business, Digital Media Strategies in the New Normal, presented by Amadeus and Google. We invite you to share your feedback on this session by completing the survey link that will appear on your screen as you leave the webinar, and you will also be receiving a copy of this survey by email. We invite you to follow us in your social media platform of choice to be informed and connected with your peers. And one last thank you to the representatives from Intelity and Crave for all of the insights and their availability to be with us today, sharing all of the information about how you can proceed to a seamless contactless technology. With that being said, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you next week. Have a great afternoon.